YouTuber Ethan Klein has called for the bombing of the NRA conference. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this over the past 2 days. It looks like he was, I believe, suspended for the next week over this. I'm going to get into his comments. He's, trying to shift the blame and trying to use a few different situations to get the blame off of himself or make it not look as bad. But this is kind of the main thing that people have been talking about today. So, but before I get into it today, if you like my video, please leave a like. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. And if I say anything that is incorrect, please let me know what it is that I said that's incorrect. And, let's talk about it in the comments. I don't want to say anything that's false. And, I'm mostly just trying to give my opinion. But obviously, when I'm speaking on facts or anything like that, I want the facts to be that. I want them to be facts. So if I do say something that I misread or I don't have the full context of, please let me know in the comments so I can correct myself. Anyways, let's get into this situation here. So YouTuber Ethan Klein, he called for the bombing of the NRA conference and what he's calling is a joke. Now, it doesn't really seem like a joke when you look at the clip. I don't really like the article here from, I believe, it's the Post Millennial. I don't really like the article from them here. They have a clip of Ethan here, but they cut it off right after he says the supposed joke. And it's, I don't know, it's little, what's the word I'm looking for? Bad faith. It feels like a little bit of bad faith here, because he goes on to say that it's a joke and, he tries to correct himself. So you got to give him that at least. And they just cut it off right before they just let him call for violence, and then they cut it there, and they don't let him finish his sentence or anything like that. And they even call him obese in this article. That's horrible. I don't think we should be making fun of his physical appearance or anything like that. I think we should be making fun of what he said. And what he said is that he thinks someone should bomb the NRA. And let's find the clip here. So I pulled up the actual clip, and this is the cause for the original podcast to be taken down. So I'm going to pause it right when he says the actual, what he actually says, just because I don't want my video to be at risk. But I'll show the full context of what he's talking about here. So he's talking about people at the NRA, and within like the 16th or 17th second, he says that he hopes someone would bomb that place or something like that. So let's see. Oh. Well, okay, well there he said it there. But he says everything but violence. Says he gets carried away. That's understandable. You can get passionate sometimes. But he keeps talking about it. And he's like, yeah, let's go after bombing it. He says, let's bomb it with an emotional protest. Like, he keeps making jokes that are really, I don't know, they don't really seem like jokes. He like that, especially that first one he said, that was not a joke. And then he goes on to joke about it, but like they're all really, I guess they're just bad jokes, but I guess, I don't know. I'll leave a link to this clip in the description below, but I don't know. Tell me what you think, because they are jokes at the end, but the first one he said didn't really seem like a joke. It seemed like he was being serious, and it pulled up Fox News. Go back. I didn't know autoplay was on. Anyway, but it didn't really seem like a joke. He goes on to say that and then there's another clip of him talking about hurting the governor of Texas as well, and he's talking about people getting in their faces, getting angry. Like, just the rhetoric that he's been spewing in this podcast leads me to believe that it wasn't a joke, and that his comments after are only to try to prevent his suspension or future ban. because that was a call to violence. 100% is a call to violence, and I firmly believe that the freedom of speech ends once you call to hurt someone or call to action for anything. He does not have the right to say this. Someone should bomb that building. Yeah, no one should. That's horrible. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Joking or not, why would you say that? That is not something to joke about. That you're literally calling for someone to act upon something that would result in someone being hurt and or killed, and it could be multiple people. It's you're causing for violence. You're calling for violence. You're calling for violence. You know you're calling for violence, and then you go on to try to play it off like it was a joke by making more bad jokes about it, which bombing with love and stuff like that. Like, whatever, dude. You know you were being serious, and that's why you're trying to backtrack it. And then we have this other clip from let's see. Oh no, I'll get into that clip after. And then we have this other clip, or I'll wait to show this one. Let's talk about some of his tweets. So that's what he said. That's what he's being suspended for. He literally said for someone to go do that at the NRA building, and that's a call to action. But now he's saying conservatives got triggered over jokes I told and mass reported me. I got banned for a week and the episode was removed. If only they cared about dead kids as much as they do jokes. So I want to say sorry. Sorry, y'all. Y'all are such pathetic snowflakes. Fuck the NRA and fuck Abbott. So if only they cared about dead kids as much as they do jokes. I read that and I immediately thought, like, what is he talking about? Obviously, they care about dead kids, and they do care about dead kids. They clearly care about dead people, because your joke wasn't a joke. You're calling for violence. You're going to call for the harming of someone, and people care about that. People care about other people being hurt. I know I don't want to see other people being hurt. So just like the dead kids you're talking about, I don't want to see any dead kids, just like I don't want to see anyone dead at the NRA. So I don't think your joke was a joke, and clearly your tweet here is just to try to get people off your back by invoking the emotional response that everyone's been having from this Texas event. You're just trying to evoke an emotional response from people to get the attention off of you, or hell, maybe even to make the attention worse, because the only time you're in the news is when you have the worst take imaginable. And then let's see, we've got more tweets here. 19 children dying because we don't want to be slightly inconvenienced. I sleep. A YouTuber making a dumb, edgy joke and immediately walking it back. Real shit. Dumb, edgy joke. What's an edgy joke? Because, like, I know what edgy jokes are. It's jokes where it's like, whoa, you know, that, wow, that, you know, that's edgy. That goes a little far. It's a little outside the norm of jokes. That's an edgy joke. An edgy joke is not where you're like, oh, you know what? That person should get hurt. That person should be bombed. That person should get shot. What? Those people should get shot. What? Dude, those aren't jokes. What about any of what I just said is an edgy joke? It isn't. None of what I just said is an edgy joke. Those are statements that can be used to incite violence. So what are you even talking about? 19 children dying. Yes, that's horrible. A YouTuber calling for violence. Yes, that's horrible. I don't care if you walked it back. I would hardly call it a walk back, considering the jokes were just like, I don't know. You're still saying you're gonna bomb them, but you're gonna bomb them with love. Okay, dude, you just said you're gonna bomb them. You're like, oh, I didn't mean that. I'm gonna bomb them with love. No, you're not. Here, yeah, you're gonna bomb them with love. Let's see this clip here from Ethan Klein. I don't know if it's the same podcast. So I don't need to play the whole clip, but Yeah, so he's literally calling for someone to knock Greg Abbott out of his wheelchair, I guess. Like, what about any of these are jokes? Like, I get you disagree with the guy. I get you don't like the guy, but why are we calling to hurt each other? Like, can't we have conversations nowadays? Like, I know Ethan can't have conversations with people considering now, I wasn't making videos at the time, but he was invited on to Steven Crowder for a political debate. And instead of having a civil political debate, he gets on, pretends to act nice, and then he invites Sam Cedar on, who's a political troll online, and he tries to have him debate for him, I guess. I don't even know what the plan was there. Steven Crowder wanted to have an actual conversation with Ethan Klein and talk about these issues, and Ethan Klein tried to make it into some online stunt. Like, this man doesn't want to have actual conversations. This man just wants to incite violence, apparently. Now, I wouldn't incite violence against him. We have more tweets from Ethan. Let's see if I could find them. I want to make it clear, I don't advocate for violence of any kind. That is obvious to anyone that watched the segment and not just the 10-second clip that was used to misdirect attention. Republicans are now the party of dead children, and nothing can misdirect away from that. So again, he's trying to misdirect away from his situation. Now, I watched that whole segment that he's talking about, and it is not clear to me that he did not advocate for violence there. And Republicans are now the party of dead children, and nothing can misdirect away from that. What does that even mean? Sorry, not were. I'm not a Republican. I'm independent. Republicans are now the party of dead children. What does that even mean? So because they want to have the right to they want to have the right to defend themselves. There are plenty of leftists that also want the right to defend themselves. I'm an independent. I want the right to defend myself. I had a really good conversation with my coworker the other day, and my coworker would be on the same spectrum as, I guess, Ethan Klein. Now, I'm not going to guess all of this man's beliefs. Now, I've heard a few of his political takes, and I would guess that he's more towards the left, definitely not on the right. But me and this guy at work were able to have a conversation without raising our voices, without insulting each other once, and we had a conversation for over 30 minutes and didn't agree on almost a single thing. Now, how can him and I do that, but Ethan Klein, whose job it is to talk to people online, can't do that? He can't talk to people civilly without advocating for violence, without insulting them, without saying that they're the party of dead children. And then we have more clips up ahead that I'll pull up. But, he says, all that being said, I have never received so many death threats and anti-Semitic shit in my life. A lot of conservatives really, really hate Jews. Now, that's horrible. If he's getting anything anti-Semitic, obviously condemn that outright. A lot of conservatives really, really hate Jews. I'm not going to comment on that. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of all kinds of different groups that, you can pick people from any group, and I'm sure you'll find someone that hates any particular group of people. It's not specific. That being said, I have never received so many death threats. Yeah, that's horrible. No one should be threatening this man with death over his comments. Just because he threatened people with death doesn't mean we should threaten him. And then we have this here. Hey, Donald Trump Jr., remember when your dad inspired an insurrection that killed 6 people? And he said that in response to Ethan Klein has 2.9 million subscribers on YouTube and has made multiple encouragements for violence and death against conservatives. So, January 6th, Donald Trump didn't incite anything. We already know that. He had a rally that was multiple hours before the insurrection. He was still there when the insurrection had began. The rally was not over. I believe the insurrection began 30 minutes before his rally was even over. And he never told anyone to go and enter the building or anything like that. Like, there's nothing we have from Donald Trump as of right now that he incited the January 6th event. So that's just nonsense. More nonsense from Ethan. He's trying to divert away from all this backlash that he's getting, of course. Now, let's see, more children die by gunfire in a year than on-duty police officers and active military members. Now, if that's true, that's horrible. Maybe it's because officers like the ones in Texas refuse to step in the line of fire to save children. Maybe that could be why. It could also be that we don't have enough adults defending these children with their own guns, maybe. And then so I responded to his tweet here. Let's see. It's actually a thread. Let me pull up the thread. If it would load. So this was in response to Tim Pool's clip. Tim Pool was responding to his tweet. So it was the tweet I already read. I was willing to accept it until the last part. Now I don't believe Ethan at all. Homie won't just say he's sorry without putting in tribal hatred. That's facts. He goes on, he's like, I don't advocate for violence, and then he says Republicans are a party of dead children. Like, how is anyone gonna agree with you, dude? And then he says, Tim Pool, a proud member of the party of dead children. So let's play this clip from Tim Pool. I'm sorry if it's loud. Let me turn the volume down. Go back. So I like how he talks about people taking out the clip out of context, and then he goes on to take Tim Pool's clip out of context. You notice how it just cuts off there at the end. I didn't do that. That's Ethan. Ethan did that. So I don't even know what Tim Pool went on to say. I don't know what video this is from. I don't know where to find it. But so I'm just going to address what is said, and what is said is that no amount of dead kids will make it okay to take away our right to defend ourselves. And I kind of agree, because what does that even mean? Oh, there's a bunch of dead kids, so we take away the weapons. Now let's get into that. So people are saying to take away the guns of AR-15s, or take away AR-15s from people so they can't commit these mass shootings anymore. Well, most mass shootings are committed with handguns. And of course, people are talking about getting rid of handguns, but the only reason people want to get rid of handguns is because they're easier to conceal for the most part, other than that they're a firearm. And then AR-15s, most people don't even know that AR stands for Armalite rifle, and they just call it an assault rifle. Assault rifles are weapons that are capable of select fire, so most people don't even know what they're talking about in that regard. But so let's get into it. We take away, let's say we banned all guns tomorrow. We do gun buybacks, we do gun confiscations, whatever. So we go door to door, get everyone's gun that we know has it. We're not even 100% sure who doesn't have a gun, obviously. So we go confiscate all the guns. So we take the gun away from the angry man, but we don't take the anger out of the man. That's the plan by people like Ethan Klein. They want to take away the weapons used by the angry person, but don't want to take away the anger from the person. I want it to be the other way around. I want these people to have the weapons to defend themselves and to defend their community, but I want to help them, and I want to find out why they're committing these crimes. I want to find out why they're turning to violence and why they want to hurt these people. I don't think getting rid of weapons and making it harder for people to access weapons is going to be safer in the long run. Clearly, this is an emotional response by people. You know, I see the stories of 19 children being shot and killed. I see the stories of 11 or 13 people being shot in a grocery store. I see the video of those people being shot in the grocery store, and I'm like, holy crap, how do these people have these weapons? But does taking these weapons away from these people make them feel any different than the way they do? Is it going to make them not want to commit these crimes because they don't have access to the weapons? My friend sent me a video the other day to watch, and in the video, the guy said, if you take away the AR-15, they'll use the car. If they use the car, they'll use the chemicals and other materials to make bombs. If you ban the materials and stuff to make bombs, They'll use the knives, the pipes, and the kitchen knives. You take away the pipes and the kitchen knives, well, you better pry that from my goddamn cold dead hands. Because no matter what, these people, they have something wrong with them. They something has happened to them in their life that has turned them rotten. And taking these guns away from people and making it harder for these people to defend themselves is not the answer. Clearly, it's I can see the perspective. Why do these people have access to these weapons? But if we ban the AR-15, okay, well, I'll go get a shotgun. There's all kinds of different shotguns that they don't really have laws against because no one talks about them. And in my opinion, shotguns are more scary than an AR-15. At least with an AR-15, someone has to aim it at you. With a shotgun, it's just in your general direction, you get blown away. And depending on the shotgun, they can have multiple rounds waiting for them right after, and it's not hard at all to load those things. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, what I personally think you do is you give more access to firearms. Because the more people we have with firearms, the more good people we have with firearms. It's just simple math. More good people exist than bad people. I firmly believe that. So if more people have guns, then by simple math, more good people will have guns than bad people do. And I think that'll be better in the long run. I'm not a big guy. If I'm walking out on the street, I much rather have a 9mm to defend myself with than pepper spray or a knife. That could be said for the same guy walking up, trying to rob me. If he has a 9mm instead of a knife, I'm probably screwed. But I for someone like me or someone like my mom or sister, they're screwed either way. I'm not going to overpower the guy with a knife, and I'm likely going to get injured in the attempt to. So I much rather have an easier means of defending myself. And, that gets back into what I was trying to say with my coworker. My coworker and I had a really good conversation, and I kept telling him that, it's my right to defend myself. And he asked me, why do I think I have that right? And I tried to explain to him that people will always do bad things, and we can't stop everyone. Some people are just bad. Some people are turned bad through bad experiences in their life, and they can be helped, but not everyone can be. Serial killers exist, and they have just this drive to hurt people, and there are people like that exist. There are people that have the drive to hurt people. There are people that are addicted to all kinds of different drugs that are driven to hurt people as well. And I want to be protected against that. I want to protect my community against that. How am I supposed to do that if all I have is a knife, and the crazy man down the street that spent the past year or two plotting his attack now has multiple bombs? He has 3D weapons that he printed. He has weapons that he manufactured himself. These are all things that are doable. It's crazy to me that people can sit there and say, oh, ban the guns. What does that actually do? We have all kinds of things banned. Murder's banned. Murder's illegal. People still commit crimes. Most drugs are illegal. Fentanyl is illegal. Do you see that stopping people from dying by fentanyl? It's insane to me that you think by creating a law that it's going to prevent it totally. And you got to think about the overall repercussions, because what I think about is when a people doesn't have their firearms, they end up like this. They end up like this, like China. They end up like China. During the coronavirus lockdowns, they were welding doors shut because these people don't have the right to defend themselves. They don't have the right to freedom of speech, and the government doesn't see them as fucking people. Do you think they would be trying to do this if they knew that these civilians had guns? None of these people have the means to defend themselves, so they know they can just go up and treat them like non-humans. And that's what governments are known for. And then I wanted to get into this here. He said, he's right. I found the articles right here, because he tried saying that, I don't know why it jumped from here to there, but he said that, it's a right to have own an AR-15 or blah, blah, blah. Or it's a human right to own an AR-15, something like that. And then he shares this here. He's like, he's right. I found the articles here. And it says, everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. And AR-15. So, again, stupid comment. AR-15, I don't know why people keep bringing that one up. AKs exist. SCARs exist. M1As. Like, I could, I'm not even that big of a gun guy. Like, I know jack shit about guns compared to most people. And I know a few other, like, M4s, like, M16s. Like, please, name another gun. Please. Jeez. And then, so what I responded to this is, yeah, you're right. You did find the article right here. Article 3. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. Oh, did my camera die? All right, one moment. All right, sorry about that. I didn't realize my camera's battery was low. Just like in the other video, if you saw, this is now the second time I've done that. Anyway, my bad. So, he did find it. It says the security of person. And I don't feel like I have the security of my person unless I have the right to defend myself with a firearm or, today's latest technology at defending myself. And that's just how I feel. Because the government can own AR-15s. They can own more than AR-15s. And if the government has the ability to wield that, why can't I defend myself with stuff like that? The people that we rely on to defend ourselves, look what they did in Texas the other day. They had 19 officers sitting outside a classroom while children were being murdered for the, next 50 minutes. And then he goes on to, he keeps sharing other stuff. He's like, conservatives be like, now is not the time for politics. We must focus on the families. And he's talking about how the families, everyone keeps telling us that it's not time to be political, but it is. Whose daughter was killed in today's mass shooting. I'm not going to talk bad about the parents. I'm not even going to comment about that. I read the article and I do have some opinions on it, but I'm just going to leave them there. And then, so he's shared this 4 hours ago. He's just trying to rail against Tim Pool now, I guess. So let me play this. Dual citizen, this country. So again, another clip where he takes it out of context. I've actually seen the podcast of Tim Pool talking about this, and Tim Pool makes a pretty sound argument. The Second Amendment says the right to bear arms shall not be infringed, yet they're infringed upon every single day with multiple kinds of different weaponry. And his point was that we need to amend the Constitution if you guys want that to be changed. And, I kind of agree. It does say shall not be infringed. It doesn't say unless it's a nuke, unless the bullet's bigger than this. And it's like, whatever, dude. And then I was seeing other people talking about, when my coworker was talking about when the Second Amendment was, written down. And they had all kinds of weapons back then. And I think they even talked about it here in the tweets and replies. Let me see if I could find it. I know the video is getting a little long. It was really frustrating to see this, because for someone who says that they're not into politics, really likes bringing himself into politics. So here it is. He says, I really appreciate that Ethan did not extend to me the same courtesy he demanded of the right. He cut out where I said, and most people think that's wrong and we should need to amend the Constitution. Privateers were legal when it was written, and they could flatten coastal cities. These are totally the same. You're right. Okay, well, you're just not thinking critically, Ethan. Clearly. Back then, this was the equivalent. Clearly, we have better technology now, but you can level whole cities with nukes. These privateers could level whole cities only on the coast. And our forefathers were pretty intelligent people. Do you not think they had the forethought to think, oh, we might have the capabilities of something insane someday? Not saying that he was going to let private citizens have this, but I think they had a general idea of what we were capable of. We had more than muskets back then. We had all kinds of different guns that were multi-barreled, and we had all kinds of different gun technology. I'm sure they could have put 2 and 2 together and be like, oh, we might have some crazy shit in the future. And that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it. Ethan, of course, he likes to bring himself into the drama, and then he's like trying to get himself out of the drama while trying to stay into the drama because he's making stupid comments about people being okay with dead children and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I think he needs to just stay out of the political sphere and just keep to his own shit. He keeps saying he doesn't want anything to do with podcast, and then he gets into stuff like this. So, bad takes as usual from Ethan Klein. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If I missed anything, which I'm sure I did, and if I said anything wrong or incorrect, please let me know in the comments. Let me know about your thoughts down below. And, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace out.